In the headlines, Supreme Court reserves judgment in Aashioku's appeal against President Tinubu. Bandits invade the Musa town, kill 9 in Katsina State. Nigeria wins $11 billion debt case against PNID. And on the foreign scene, Hamas says more than 5,000 killed in Israeli strikes on Gaza. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Abdurrahman Umar. Thanks for joining. And now we begin the news from the judiciary as the Supreme Court on Monday reserves judgment on appeals filed by presidential candidates of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) Atiku Abubakar and Labour Party candidate Peter Obi, challenging the judgment of the Presidential Election Petition Court that upheld the victory of President Bola Tinubu in the February election. The Apex Court, led by Justice Inyang Okoro, also strikes out an appeal by the Allied People's Movement (APM), just as it hears the application of the former Vice President to admit fresh evidence against President Tinubu.
Behind me is the Supreme Court, which is Nigeria's Apex Court. It has reserved judgment on the appeals filed by the major frontline presidential candidate in a February presidential election in Nigeria. The candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, and his Labour Party counterpart, Peter Obi. Both of the parties are before the Supreme Court challenging the outcome of the Presidential Election Court on this matter. They have various grounds. But one of the new West ground is, of course, attempt by the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to admit, if you like, or get admitted evidence arising from its discoveries from the Chicago State University concerning the certificates of the incumbent president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. On both appeals, the Supreme Court had listened to both parties' arguments and reserved judgment. While it struck out the appeal by the APM, the APR, which was brought forward in contention of the ruling or judgment concerning allegation of double nomination by the vice presidential candidate, now Vice President of Nigeria, Kashim Shettima. The Supreme Court in this instance said it cannot sit on an appeal determined. So that means sitting on a decision that has been taken by the same court. It urged the parties to withdraw the suit, which they did, and then eventually it was struck out by the Supreme Court. Now, the panel of justices of the Supreme Court, led by Justice Inyang Okoro, have reserved judgment on the substantive matter, that is on the two major appeals, that of the PDP and the Labour Party. It is for a date to be communicated to the parties in due course. And on the admissibility or otherwise of the new evidence, the Supreme Court has said that it is going to deliver ruling on that particular matter alongside the judgment it reserved. From the Supreme Court here in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News.
Still on Judiciary Matters, the Adamawa State High Court has scheduled the arraignment of suspended resident Electoral Commissioner Rek Hudu Musa for November 6, 2023. Hudu faces multiple charges, including announcing false electoral results, breaching his oath of neutrality, disorderly conduct during elections, inciting disturbance, and impersonating a public servant. Originally set for July 27, 2023, the arraignment was delayed due to the Rek's failure to appear in court. As a result, Justice Benjamin Manjilon was forced to adjourn the case for the third time. And now, as the elections in Kogi, Imo and Bayelsa draw nearer, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has unveiled modalities for conducting the elections and assured of using IRF to upload results. In this report, Noel Samson speaks to INEC's Acting Director, Voter Education and Publicity, to clear the air on the controversy behind IRF and other issues ahead of the elections.
The INEC Result Viewing Portal, IREV, is an online portal where polling unit level results are uploaded directly from the polling unit, transmitted and available for public monitoring. This means the portal is not meant for collecting of results, as may be mistaken by many.
One of the challenges we have is the issue of people not understanding what the use of IREV actually is. Like I said, IREV is not a collation instrument. The Commission doesn't collate results with IREV. What it does is just to allow people to view results of the polling unit by polling unit. And the Commission intends to deploy this instrument again for the Kogi, Imo, and Bayelsa election. And the essence is just for people to be able to view the result in real time. It is not for collation purposes. And if I may let you know, the law states that every particular political party is expected to have a representative at each polling unit. And the law allows INEC to give the result of each polling unit to each of the political party agents present at the polling unit.
She also addressed the issue of deploying core members for the elections and their security.
The Commission does not have the manpower to be able to conduct elections. Take, for instance, for the general election, we used over 1 million officials. And for the Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi now, we also need large number because each polling unit, you must have 4 officials. That's the presiding officer and 3 assistant presiding officers. The Commission is doing quite a lot to ensure the safety of not just the NYC, but everyone, including the voters that will come to vote on election day. Like the Honorable Chairman of the Commission will always say, that he will never be happy when a single Nigerian lost his or her life or is injured because such person is participating in the election.
Nigerians are hopeful that the upcoming elections will reflect the will of the people. No, Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And now on security matters, bandits in their numbers have raided the Musa town, the headquarters of the Musa local government area of Katsina State, killing 9 residents. A resident of the town who spoke on condition of anonymity told a reporter that the gunmen attacked the town around 8 p.m. on Sunday and operated for hours, killing 9 people, including a policeman. He said the bandits also kidnapped a yet-to-be-ascertained number of people and wounded several others. He added that the attackers conducted a house-to-house raid and carted away valuables. Another source in the town said 2 of the deceased victims were his neighbors, adding that the policeman was killed during the house-to-house raid after they saw his uniform. Unconfirmed sources in the community said the attackers might be on a reprisal mission as one of the bandits' leaders was captured and killed by the newly commissioned Community Watch Corps in the local government. The police spokesman in Katsina, ASP Abubakar Sadiq Aliyu, who confirmed the last night attack, said 5 persons were killed. In the meantime, the family of a 58-year-old murder victim in Gombe metropolis are demanding justice from authorities to investigate the circumstances surrounding her death. Aashioku Abubakar was gruesomely murdered at her residence in Jikada Ferry area of Gombe State capital on Friday. Trust TV's Ibrahim Ismail has more.
These are the relatives and well-wishers mourning at the residence of late Aashioku Abubakar, known as Adadamori, brutally murdered on 20th October 2023. The suspect reportedly called the victim on phone while she was at her neighbor's house, but it turns out that she answered the wrong call.
Ta fito ta ji shiga makota gidansa kenan sai suka mata waya. Sai ta ce su waye ne kam?
The culprits called her on the phone while she was at a neighbor's house. They told her that she has some guests. She went to see them. On Thursday, we spent the whole night discussing together. She was treating an eye illness. So I wanted to revisit and see her. Then this happened. May Allah forgive her. Let Aashioku's neighbor, who was shocked by the incident, called on relevant security agencies to strengthen security in the state. Such crime can only be averted when the perpetrators are punished publicly to discourage others from committing the same crime. Government should take action and bring the culprits to book. This will serve as a deterrent to others. Nigeria Police Gombe State Command said it has arrested a suspect in connection with the incident. Aashioku's tragic killing comes 2 months after the murder of an Islamic cleric, Sheikh Ibrahim Albani Nkuri, in a similar circumstance. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Gombe.
The Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum has commissioned the newly rebuilt Monday market in Maiduguri that was razed by fire early this year. The governor said the opening of the market became necessary to help support the livelihood of traders and residents. Bitrus Krusi report.
It would be recalled that the popular Monday market in Maiduguri went up in flames with goods worth billions of naira burnt to ashes. The largest market in the metropolis was shut down for rehabilitation that lasted months. With the reconstruction project complete, Governor Zulum on Monday commissioned and reopened the Monday market.
It is my singular honor and privilege to commission this newly rehabilitated, burned down Maiduguri Monday market to the glory of God and to the benefit of the community. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
He said the market reopening will create a source of livelihood for thousands. He added that those not included in the allocation of shops will be supported.
When you translate the total number of beneficiaries that are benefiting from Monday market, it amounts to nothing less than 300,000. So this figure is much. Rebuilding back Monday market, that means we are bringing back means of livelihood to thousands of people. Without means of livelihood, we shall witness a lot of things, including insecurity. Those that couldn't get allocation in the market could go a long way in alleviating the sufferings of thousands of people in Borno State.
The governor also flagged off the construction of 11 roads and drainages at St. Marie, Jere, and Mafa local governments.
This area, St. Marie, especially this area, used to be completely overflooded by water during the rainfall. The people in this settlement found it very difficult for them to move out from their settlement, even to their place of work and place of their markets.
As Maiduguri market comes to life again, there is no doubt that in the coming days, the commercial hub will be a beehive of activities with people across the state and northeast patronizing the market. Bitrus Kuruti, Trust TV News, Maiduguri.
The Lagos state government has sealed off the popular Alaba International Market in continuation of the clampdown on markets across the state over poor environmental sanitation. Alaba markets shut down followed the closure of several other markets in the state in recent times by the Waste Management Authority, LOMA. Commissioner for Environment Tokumbo Wahab announced the shutdown of Alaba early on Monday on his X handle, formerly Twitter. Writing on the platform, Wahab said Alaba International Market Ojo has been sealed up for poor waste disposal practices, failure to pay their waste bills and gross environmental sanitation offences. In the meantime, President Bola Tinubu says the implementation of the Student Loan Initiative will commence in January 2024. Tinubu, who was speaking in Abuja during the National Economic Summit 2023 on Monday, assured Nigerian students that the era of incessant strikes will be a thing of the past. In celebration of June 12th, President Tinubu signed into law the Student Loan Bill, a promise he made during his campaign. The bill, sponsored by the Speaker of the Ninth House of Representatives, Femi Bajabiamila, now Chief of Staff to the President, provides easy access to higher education for indigent Nigerians through interest-free loans from the Nigerian Education Loan Fund. The funds for the program will be domiciled in the Ministry of Education and will only be accessed by indigent students of tertiary institutions. Monday's move comes days after Tinubu waived the no work, no pay policy imposed by the previous administration on members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. At Monday's event, Tinubu also demanded improvements to the welfare of the legal system and civil service. The president acknowledged the pain caused by the subsidy effect while pointing out that these reforms will eventually pay off. You're watching Trust News Update. Coming up after the break, we take a look at efforts to preserve the African culture. Details of that and more after the break. Please stay with us.
That's right. You too could be one of the 20 Zenith Bank customers that will win 150,000 Naira every 2 weeks from June 1st, 2023 until May 31st, 2024 in the Zenith Better Life Promo 3. To qualify, simply open a Zenith Bank account. For more information, visit www.zenithbank.com/betterlife. Live the better life with Zenith Bank.
It was never a consensus. We did all our best. You see, in politics, you give your contribution to the best of your ability.
If you want, I'll forward to you this statement. You go to this bank and verify. But
there are people who say not spending money is not about you.
I'm coming. Let me finish.
Because there's so much to be done.
Let me finish. Now, you don't allow me to explain myself.
The recent development shows abductions are now a factor of informants embedded in community.
It's not about the people of Katsina to say that, no, during my administration I was able to stop insecurity. No, it's about collective responsibility for all of us.
And what we should ask ourselves is not what has been seen, is the life better? Are there more people who are unemployed who are not become employed? Is the level of corruption has gone down? Is there inclusion? All those issues.
We're actually a gas country with associated oil. Our focus has always been on oil, that we have never paid significant attention to gas.
To do it effectively, we need to have honest conversation with ourselves. Government needs to come down from its high horse and communicate with the people and build trust.
There must be a solution. We cannot continue this way. They must come back to the table and agree. So whose child will you deny education? All these children that sit for jam, they want to go to higher institutions.
But just a short while ago you were saying that why bring 10 children when you cannot cater for them? So why bring more universities when you cannot cater for the existing?
Are you interested in the latest news and developments in Nigerian politics, policy, governance and other critical national issues? Look no further than Daily Politics on Trust TV. Our panel of experts and key people in government provide in-depth analysis and commentary on the biggest stories in Nigerian politics.
And 33.3 million Nigerians are suffering from multidimensional poverty.
It's a much calmer Buhari than the Buhari who was in the khaki uniform.
Naira to Naira X rate is higher anywhere in the world. The Naira is higher than the exchange rate. So you want to...
Since central bank governor you're doing, you must do it fast.
The number of casualties we have had, we shouldn't have had. Security, as far as Nigeria is concerned, we have wronged.
From the inner workings of government to the latest on legislation, rule of law, implementation and democracy, we have you covered. Don't miss out on the latest political news and discussion. Tune in to Daily Politics, weekdays on Trust TV.
your source for reliable and unbiased coverage of Nigerian politics.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is the news update on Trust TV, and here is the recap of some of our top stories. Supreme Court reserves judgment in Atiku's appeal against President Tinubu. And bandits invade the Musa town, kill 9 in Katsina State. Now to other stories. Wife of the Oyo State Governor Tamuno Makinde has advocated regular hand washing among students, youths, and indeed all Nigerians in order to address the spread of harmful diseases. The governor's wife gave this advice in Ibadan during a sensitization program organized for students from selected schools across the state in commemoration of this year's Global Hand Washing Day celebration. Makinde, who urged parents to imbibe the practice in their wards, emphasized that regular and proper hand washing could protect the health and well-being of vulnerable children and people with compromised immune systems.
Washing hands prevents us from getting food poison. I can still say the example that was given. And also prevent death, because there are some bacteria that they are so fast before the doctors can do any test to diagnose anything. It has really damaged a lot. First, in Nigeria, they will start treating you with malaria, which will further reduce your immune system, before they get to know that actually what is wrong with you is what? Food what? Poison. So please, wash your hands in as many times as what? There is no limit.
Through strong leadership and collective efforts, we can close the gaps in access and practice to achieve an hygiene for all.
Now, the monarch of Aashioku Kingdom in Aniocha South local government area of Delta State, His Royal Majesty Obi Ife Chukwudi Anishi Okunjo II, has enjoined stakeholders to redouble efforts at preserving African culture in the face of growing Western influence. According to the traditional ruler, the cultural heritage of the people is significant in defining a people's true identity. Trust TV's Jonathan Awenyai reports.
The monarch told youth to support and promote efforts to preserve Nigeria's cultural heritage, stressing the importance of preserving the country's heritage. The traditional ruler harped on the need for Nigerians to appreciate and promote the country's diverse cultures, adding that cultural diversity is significant to national growth.
Our culture, and it is this unique culture that helps us to sort a lot of our problems, our social problems. So with our culture, you're able to know where the boundaries are between different age groups, between the different the sexes, and between the different socio-cultural organizations within the kingdom. So it has a lot of significance. We must maintain it, we must sustain it, and although I believe that we must reform some of it.
Others who spoke to Trust TV said preservation of Nigeria's cultural heritage is imperative for the country to liberate itself from the clutches of imperialism, which he said is destroying the country's natural values.
Mostly here in Delta State, need to involve Delta State arts and culture so that the government will come fully. Then they will create more awareness, the importance of culture in the community, because that is our identity.
What is happening these days, our youth have decided to imbibe the Western cultures and do away with our own culture. For me, my message is our culture is important. We cannot allow it die because of Western cultures. The West have their own, the one they practice. Let's say, for instance, now, you look at our youth, you see the way you see men piercing their ears. You see they're putting on trousers, allowing the trousers to go down, like they say they call it sag. You understand? These are Western cultures. These are the things that we have brought in from the white culture.
According to them, growing moral decadence in the society can be addressed if core traditional values are upheld. Jonathan Awanyai, Trust TV News, Asaba.
Now, in another development, Robin Knowles, Justice of Commercial Courts of England and Wales, has quashed a PNID $11 billion arbitration award against Nigeria. The judgment is coming after 5 years of legal fireworks in the United Kingdom. In 2010, Process and Industrial Development PNID signed a gas supply and processing agreement with Nigeria to develop a processing plant in Alaba. The agreement collapsed in 2012 after PNID failed to do the work and instituted private proceedings against Nigeria. In 2017, the arbitration tribunal ordered Nigeria to pay $6.6 billion with 7% interest counting from March 20, 2013. Nigeria then appealed against the enforcement of the arbitration award, and the UK court granted the relief, allowing the matter to return to the High Court for trial. The judge upheld Nigeria's prayer on the grounds that the ill-fated gas processing contract was obtained by fraud. The judge agreed with submission of the Nigeria's legal team that there was overwhelming evidence that the contract and the arbitration award had been procured through an audacious fraud, citing the trial and conviction of some of the actors for corruption and money laundering. Now, away from Nigeria, Gaza's Hamas-run Health Ministry on Monday said more than 5,000 people have been killed in the besieged Palestinian enclave since Israel launched its western bombing campaign more than 2 weeks ago. Alarm has surged about the spiraling humanitarian crisis in Gaza amid the war sparked by the October 7th Hamas attack that Israeli officials say killed more than 1,400 people who were gunned down, stabbed or burnt by the Islamist militants. Hamas also took more than 200 hostages on a day when Israel's army reported more than 300 new strikes within 24 hours. Gaza's health ministry said the death toll had surged about 5,000, around 40% of the children. Thousands of buildings have been destroyed and more than 1 million people displaced in the territory that has been under siege and largely deprived of water, food and other basic supplies. About a dozen trucks carrying desperately needed aid, the third convoy in 3 days, arrived inside Gaza from Egypt on Monday through Rafah, Gaza's only crossing not controlled by Israel. The United States, which has brokered the entry of the 8 convoys, has vowed a continued flow of relief goods into Gaza, even as UN aid agencies have said far more is needed. And now finally on sports news, Google Doodle has celebrated legendary Nigerian footballer Rashidi Yekini on what will have been his 60th birthday on Monday, October 2023. Born in Kaduna, Nigeria in 1963, the late Super Eagles striker's life story was a testament to the determination and talent that overcame adversity. Yekini faced significant challenges in his early life, including periods of homelessness and taking up jobs as a welder and mechanic to make ends meet. Despite these hardships, his unwavering passion for football was evident. Beyond Nigeria, Yekini showcased his talents on the international stage, playing for clubs in Spain. And with that, we have come to the end of the Trust News Update. Do not forget to follow us across all our media platforms and our YouTube live stream for more news programs and documentary. I am Abdurrahman Omar. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.